As they were walking to the lawn, Gangrim remembered what Gunam had done to him in his past life. In Gangrim's past life, the other hunters used to avoid him like the plague because of his low rank. Gunam was the only one to treat him indifferently, so despite knowing his abilities, Gangrim trusted Gunam. But Gunam used that to his advantage and read Gangrim's destiny through palm reading. And when he saw Gangrim's destiny stealing power, he spread it around, and the rumors about Gangrim trying to kill his teammates and stealing their powers spread like wildfire. Gangrim decided to tell Suwa about Gunam's palm reading before leaving. But Suwa stopped him and asked him once again to join her in clearing the second room. Gangrim refused once again, reasoning that their attributes would be incompatible for the second room, before leaving her alone. Instead of getting upset that Gangrim rejected her again, Suwa still felt thankful for Gangrim, seeing right through him and knowing that he was just worried about her. Meanwhile, Gangrim passed by Gunam, who asked him to party with him in the second room. Since Gunam has water attributes, Gangrim agreed to go with him. In the second room, the hunters have to find the ice crystal and return to the lobby. Gangrim and Gunam entered the second room and defeated tertiary insectal-grade fire frogs. Since Gunam is using magic, he is quickly losing mana, and Gangrim always has to save him. This frustrates Gunam, who was just looking for an opportunity to read Gangrim's palms and find out what class he is. The two of them continued looking for the ice crystal when they saw a crystal-like ball. Thinking that it was the ice crystal, Gunam excitedly ran to grab it, only to find out that it was actually a fire frog's egg sac. After grabbing it, Gunam was ambushed by too many fire frogs. He asked for Gangrim's help, but the latter just left him alone and went to look for the ice crystal by himself. He found the ice crystals and decided to shop first before leaving. He opened the shop window with the spirit pearls he had collected and bought a prayer chest. Gangrim used the ice crystals to pray for the item he wants. A destiny protection charm that would help hide a part of his destiny. After that, Gangrim let Gunam clear the second room first to make it look like he was actually weaker than Gunam. And when Gunam went to him to brag, he allowed Gunam to shake hands with him, knowing that Gunam would use this as a chance to read his palms. So when Gunam saw Gangrim's destiny, he saw that Gangrim is just a tertiary insectal grade, and his powers are flame manipulation and unsheath. Gunam was frustrated that he wasted his time on someone weaker than him and left Gangrim alone, not noticing the smirk on Gangrim's face as he watched Gunam leave. Just like Gangrim expected, Gunam and Gojin decided to team up together. And Gangrim felt relieved that the two would be leaving him alone now. Meanwhile, in the Fate Protection Agency, there was another emergency meeting as Gunam and Gangrim managed to easily clear the second room again. Gongju was worried that the training wasn't hard enough to actually help the hunters get better, and he is worried that it might become the reason for the hunters' deaths. Because of this, the Fate Protection Agency decided to delay the third room. Everyone waited for the third room to open, but they were summoned by Anavi for a meeting in the hall. In the third room, the hunters would hunt real demons, unlike in the previous rooms, where they were just hunting the demons created by the Fate Protection Agency for training purposes. The gods of the realms would also watch on as the hunters raided the demon realm and might want to possess the hunters. Standing alone, Gangrim was greeted by the twins named Yunbom and Yungyeol. Yunbom is in the primary draconic grade and has the ability to perfect marksmanship. Yungyeol is in primary draconic grade and has the ability to hit a perfect one-shot. Gangrim felt sad as he looked at the twins because he knew what would happen to them. In the third room, Bom would survive, whereas Gyeol would die. After Gyeol's death, Bom would change into a cold-hearted hunter and would be scouted into one of the 5 great sects, the Sura sect. Bom would become the cause of the deaths of some of the Flying Tigers sect members. Wanting to change the twins' destinies, Gangrim decided to party with them in order to protect them from the dangers of the demon realm. In the third room, hunters have to hunt more than one of each type of monster in the Ice Valley, with a time limit of 14 days. Gangrim and the twins entered the demon realm. Everything was going well at first. That was until Gangrim realized that Gyeol was missing. Gangrim and Bom went looking for Gyeol until they found him at the bottom of a pit, holding an injured Gunam. Gangrim went down to help them up, but Gunam refused Gangrim's help, which the latter accepted without second thoughts. Gangrim and the twins left Gunam alone, and the latter was fuming. Gunam was thinking of all the ways he could take revenge when he heard a god's voice asking him if he could possess him. Back to Gangrim and the twins, Gangrim took the twins to the portal so they could go back to the training area. The three of them were planning on continuing their hunt the next day when Gangrim heard voices. He recognized the voice and immediately told the twins to go through the portal while he ran after the voices. Meanwhile, Suwa and her group were cornered by wolves. Suwa was struggling to fight the wolves while protecting everyone, as she was the only one who could. Then Gangrim came in and helped her defeat the wolves. After killing the wolves, they all decided to go back to the training area, where Gangrim reprimanded Suwa for being reckless before walking away. Suwa smiled as she watched him walk away, happy to see Gangrim so worried about her despite him acting like a cold-hearted bad guy. The next day, Gangrim and the twins are back hunting in the demon realm once again. Just then, Gangrim detected an energy of death. He decided to leave the twins for a while and look around when he bumped into Gunam, who was already possessed by a god. Gunam challenged Gangrim to a fight but soon lost. As Gangrim was hovering over Gunam, Bohm came yelling for him, announcing that Gyoul had been swept away by a herd of snow pigs. The two of them immediately went looking for Gyoul, until they found him being carried by a tertiary ghostly-grade yeti. The yeti brought Gyoul to its cave, and since they were quite far away from the cave, Gangrim told Bohm to shoot the flares to distract the yeti while he took Gyoul from the cave. Bohm managed to distract the yeti for a while, but Gangrim didn't realize that there was another yeti inside the cave, and it saw him, calling the attention of the first yeti who was chasing Bohm. The two yetis attacked Gangrim, who was trying his best to protect Gyoul. Gangrim then tries to lure the yetis into a pit covered with snow, but ends up falling himself. Fortunately, Suwa came just in time to catch him with her branches. Suwa helped Gangrim back up, and when they got back up, they saw Bohm yelling for Gyoul to wake up. Gangrim was devastated to think that he still wasn't able to save Gyoul, but that devastation was quickly washed away when they heard Gyoul's voice. Gangrim was able to save Gyoul and change the twins' destinies. Because Gangrim changed the twins' destinies, his class was upgraded from tertiary insectal grade to secondary insectal grade. Bohm hugged Gangrim to thank him for saving her brother's life, while Suwa took care of Gyoul. Meanwhile, Gunam was still stuck between the ice when Gojin appeared. Gunam asked for Gojin's help, but the latter refused to help him as Gunam is not a strong main character he can be allies with. The next day, Gangrim woke up from a nightmare. He had dreamt of the twins getting killed by Baek Young, and Suwa told him that he was the one who killed them. Because of this, Gangrim decided to distance himself even from the twins, who were sad that Gangrim didn't want to hang out with them. Gangrim was thankful that the twins got closer to Suwa, as he trusts Suwa to take good care of the twins. Due to Gangrim not wanting to join them, Suwa and the twins went to the fourth room all by themselves. In the fourth room, the hunters are tasked with hunting monsters and collecting 1,000 spirit pearls. Suwa and the twins started hunting when Gyoul accidentally stepped into a trap. Gangrim, on the other hand, was taking care of the unknown egg he received as a reward for killing the yetis. He was also able to change his flame attributes into water. After a while, Gangrim decides to enter the fourth room. He purchased a demon realm map to explore the forest. Gangrim heard the voices of the gods asking to possess him, but Gangrim refused. Though he was shocked and the Master of All Flames asked to possess him too, Gangrim decided to ignore him for a while before going hunting and collecting spirit pearls. As he was exploring the forest, he noticed the traps and blood on the ground. He remembered the masked murderer in that forest. That murderer who once targeted Gangrim. Luckily, Suwa managed to save Gangrim, but in return, she lost one eye. Fearing that Suwa and the twins were targeted by the masked murderer this time, Gangrim frantically looked for the three until he saw a group of hunters surrounding an unconscious Gyoul. In anger, Gangrim unsheathed his sword. Meanwhile, in the Fate Protection Agency, the agents are having yet another meeting. They were talking about Gunam, who hasn't come back yet from the third room. Assuming he was dead, Gong Ju decided to let it go and focus on more important matters. After the meeting, one agent talked to Anavi, who seemed worried. Anavi then shared her discovery. While checking the trainee list from the other areas, Anavi found out that there was a serial murderer among them. Back to Gangrim, he read the hunter's destinies, and he identified the guy squatting beside Gyeol as Nam Yujun, class tertiary human grade. Yujun told Gangrim that Gyeol just needed an antidote, and Gangrim realized that he was telling the truth when he detected that Gyeol was poisoned. But he didn't know if he could trust this group of hunters. Then Suah came with Bohm and a hunter named Zhu Yeryung, a secondary ghostly grade. Yeryung explained that Gyeol walked into a trap they had set, and since they weren't planning on hurting Gyeol at all, they decided to help him out. Gangrim then remembered that the masked murderer was good with poisons and traps too, but since he wasn't sure who the real murderer was, he couldn't just accuse them like that. So, he decided to just take Suah and the twins to safety after Gyeol received the antidote. Night came, and the group set up a campfire. The four of them were enjoying their time together when Gangrim suddenly heard voices inside his head, reminding him that he was the cause of his friends' deaths. Gangrim decided to leave the three and just take care of his unknown egg. But without Suah and the twins knowing, Gangrim was sitting on a tree branch and watching over them. He was watching the twins bickering around, and Suah was just watching them with a smile, when he saw a group of bears going towards the camp. So he went down and looked for anything suspicious, and he noticed the demonic peach on the ground. The demonic peach is a fruit that demons eat, so it naturally attracts demons with its scent. Gangrim knew that the demonic peaches were left near the camp intentionally, and he needed to find out who they were. Gangrim warned the group to be wary of the humans too, as they are now being targeted. Meanwhile, Gojin was hunting monsters out of boredom. He was thinking about Gangrim and how suspiciously good he was. With determination, Gojin went looking for Gangrim. The next day, Gangrim was exploring the forest all by himself again when he smelled the scent of blood. He then saw the corpse of a human on the ground and was suddenly attacked by the masked murderer. The masked murderer revealed himself to be Nam Yujun, with an impulse to murder. Gangrim also learned that Yujun had been possessed by a god who allowed him to kill. Gangrim and Yujun faced each other head-on, but Yujun was clearly strong, and with his invisibility abilities, it would be harder for Gangrim to fight him. Then Gangrim remembered the destiny he managed to steal from the Yetis he defeated, the fighting instinct ability, which makes the user boil over with the instinct to fight. The stronger the opponent is, the more the stats will increase in order to close the gap between the opponent's stats and the user's stats. After activating the power, Gangrim seemed to have lost himself and kept on attacking Yujun without caring if he might kill the guy. But then Gojin came and provoked Gangrim into a fight. Gangrim diverted his attention to Gojin, who easily knocked out Gangrim. Gojin then made fun of Yujun, who ran away from the scene, and when Gangrim woke up, Gojin requested to be teammates with Gangrim again. Yujun, on the other hand, was worried about Gojin and Gangrim being alive, as they were both witnesses to his murder. He went back to his own teammates and pretended to be hurt. One of his teammates offered to heal him with the healing ability, and Yujun accepted gladly before killing all of them. Due to his evil deeds, the god called the Fear of the Alive and Dead was satisfied and gifted him a blade necklace, which increases his strength by 10%. But then it started raining, and since Yujun has a fire attribute, his stats decreased by 10%. The Fear of the Alive and Dead told him not to worry as Gangrim also had fire attributes, which means that he might have gone weaker too. Confidently, Yujun looked for Gangrim to fight him again. Unbeknownst to Yujun, Gangrim has changed his attributes to the water attribute he stole from the Yetis and is now stronger under the rain.